Hi guys, Mr. Rufflewaffles here. Excuse me, it's been a while since I made a zombies video. It's been a while actually since I made a video. I have been AWOL in many ways over the last couple of months. I posted content when Terra Maledicta came out, which I'm surprised I even remembered the name of because I played it about twice and then have not even thought about it since. I then left the country, went to America, and here I still am, and just a lot has gone on. A lot has gone on. I've also just gotten out of bed, so that explains this. Apologies. Today we're going to be talking about zombies, which feels weird, because I think a lot of us have sort of moved on from zombies in the last few months because it's just not given us anything to keep us sticking around, you know? But we're going to be talking about it today because there is some stuff that I think long-term zombies fans should be part of the discourse for. New zombies fans will no doubt be talking about because it's going to affect not only Vanguard, but also Cold War zombies. There's like a handful of things that we need to get through, okay? So, thing one. Treyarch are releasing round-based zombies maps for Vanguard in the future. Now, there are many caveats to be had here, and I'm not actually sure this is a good idea, which you guys might think is insane. You may think I've lost my marbles, but let me explain. When Vanguard came out, Treyarch tried to create a new system, a new formula, a new model, a new mode, right? It wasn't quite the zombies that we'd experienced in the past. It was this interesting, or to some, uninteresting blend of things that we might have seen in an Outbreak, things that we have seen in round-based zombies maps, of course, and things that we see in your sort of roguelikes and stuff like that. They were trying to sort of pull from different areas. And I don't think it worked, because the game was underbaked, and a lot of the systems that they were building were underbaked. They didn't have enough depth to them. They weren't complicated enough in many ways. It was just a bit like a thrust in an interesting direction, but it didn't really land where it needed to, in my opinion, okay? They then said in Terra Maledicta, we're going to stick to our guns and do more of that. We're going to do more of it. We're going to keep iterating on this formula, trying to build it out and improve it to make it more fun. And now, by saying that the next thing that they're working on is a round-based zombies map, they are buckling, I think, to the pressure that we, the fans, have placed on them to just give us what we want, whereas they, I think, have been trying to develop what we need. And this is something that Jason Blundell talked about famously, actually, in, when was it? Maybe 2017, 18? Not sure, something like that. There was that panel that he did, right? At CodXP, and he talked about Monty's scarf and all these sorts of things. But he also, actually, it must not have been 2017 or later, I don't know, I can't remember. Anyway, he talked about the fact that as a game dev, it's very, very important to always be thinking a couple of years ahead. Certainly a game dev in his position. If you're just sort of on the ground programming, you got to do what your lead tells you to do, right? You got to be thinking about what's happening that week. But when you're a lead, when you're a creative director, when you're really sort of at the forefront of a project, you've got to be thinking about what people are going to need in the future rather than what they want right now. Because what they want right now, they won't want still in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time, okay? So Jason famously said this, and it's something that I think rings very true, and that has two sides to it. It can be dangerous because someone in that position can think, oh, well, I've constantly got to be changing things up. I can't stick with what's working ever, because if I just stick with what's working, then I'll never get to like the thing people will need in the future, right? So like there is a double edge to it. However, I think that it's a sort of axiom that is very true. It has a lot of truth to it. And in the Treyarch Zombies case, I think the baseline Treyarch Zombies formula has, in many ways, run its course. I think that what we got in Cold War was an incredible kind of extra extension to the life cycle and the lifetime of zombies, but I don't think it's sustainable to just do that forever. I don't. I think that everyone ultimately will get bored if it never changes, right? And so, despite the fact that I think that what Vanguard did ended up not being fun, I think that Treyarch were pushing in a good direction. I think that had they managed to just get a bit further with it, had they had funding, and had they had time, and all those sorts of things, maybe we would have ended up with a mode that we actually did really love. I think that there's also creative issues with the mode. I think that they've lost touch in many ways with what a lot of the fans are most passionate about. And I think that that really shows in the things that they've been making and where they've been kind of putting their dev time and stuff like that. But I think trying to evolve the formula and trying to do something new is a good thing. That is a good thing. That will bring us to a place where zombies can last for the next 10 years instead of just clawing out another year, right? So they're making a round-based map now. Is that a good thing? Well, it means that they're sort of giving up on innovation in some ways. They're giving up on do the thing that is scary and is uncomfortable and is difficult, and instead it's do the safe thing, because the players are fleeing. The players are running away as fast as their flynets will carry them. Like, they are gone. They are just completely abandoning ship. So I get it, I guess, that they need to do the safe thing to just try and be like, no, wait, please come back, like, we still need you. But at the same time, if you just do the safe thing forever, people are going to go as well, because they're going to get burned out on the same thing all the time. So it's an interesting one. I think a round-based map being in the game is a good idea. I do think that that's a good thing. If it's at the expense of innovation in other areas, that's really unfortunate. And that's where we get into this awkward conversation about the fact that zombies doesn't really make enough money right now. Clearly, if it made more money, then it would be getting a lot more dev time. It wouldn't be being overshadowed by literally every other thing in Call of Duty right now. It would be more of sort of something that could stand on its own 2 feet. And because it's not that, we end up in situations like this where Treyarch says, yes, we're going to do a round-based map, but it's just going to be Shi No Numa. Shi No Numa came out in 2009, and it's just going to be that again. Okay. And also it's coming out in Season 4. So it's a while away. And in a situation where Zombies was earning a lot more money, what I've just described would not be the case. I mean, Terra Maledicta also wouldn't have been the case. The launch of the game wouldn't have been the case. I get that it's been sort of an underlying theme throughout all of Vanguard Zombies, and the fact that Treyarch have kind of been transplanted in to Sledge to work on it for this game is also weird. There's also the fact that we've been told that next year, as in this coming year for COD, there's not going to be like a mainline Call of Duty release. Apparently, we're just going to be getting Modern Warfare 2, and then we're going to be getting... next year. I said it this year. No, next year there's going to be a gap. Like, there's been that conversation. Then there's been conversation saying there won't be a mainline release, but there's going to be some kind of other Zombies release, which sounds like the zombie standalone game that we've all been waiting for so long. That could be interesting, but again, it's further sort of down the pipeline, and for now, it really just doesn't have budget. It doesn't have anything going for it. Perhaps because all the Zombies resources are being put towards that game that's coming in 18 months' time. Maybe that's why. So the fact that there's a round-based map coming, I think, is probably a good thing. They say it's going to have a main quest, but at this point, after Terra Maledicta, again, I don't know if I really trust them. Like, all of my faith in Treyarch has been eroded. All of it. And not only that, but all of the devs that work at Treyarch have all left as well. I mean, most of them have, at least. I think I talked about this in my last video. It's been a few months, so forgive me if I'm forgetting which exact video it was, but I'm pretty confident there are more Treyarch devs working at Deviation Games than there are at Treyarch. Make it make sense. They have just lost all of their talent. The few remaining people that are there are like some of the folks on the sound team, I think, are still there. You've got people like Mark Maestas is still there. Kevin Drew is still there. Like, there are a handful of folks, don't get me wrong, that are sort of Zombies vets that are still working on the mode, but it's few and far between. I mean, Kevin Drew, I think, got promoted to director, right? Creative director of Zombies. Which means that Corky Lemcool, is no longer directing the mode this year, which I don't know if that means he's moved on from the company, or I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but it's not a good look. It really isn't a good look, and it's in situations like this when you kind of get into development hell with a mode and you get changes in management every 6 weeks and it's all chaos that nothing productive ever happens. Like, you can't develop a good game in those circumstances. You need a visionary. You need a Jason Blundell. You need a Lee Ross to be at the front of a project like that, guiding it forward, and also fighting for it, sticking up for it, getting into those meetings with the Activision execs and being like, you guys are flat out wrong about how this game needs to be made. I don't care what your little nephew wants put in the game. We're ignoring Timmy over there, and we're doing what we want. That's what we need from someone. And we're going to have to hope that Kevin Drew is going to be capable of doing that, but we just don't know enough about him. I'm hoping that at some point, while I'm here in LA, I might be able to meet up with the guy and be like, hey, Kevin, I like your mustache. But we'll see. We'll see if that happens or not. I'll report back. There's more news to talk about, though. It's not just there's round-based maps. There is more. So they put out a blog post. That's what I'm reading right now. And alongside round-based maps coming to Vanguard, they talk a little bit about Shi No Numa. It's called Shi No Numa Reborn, or at least that's the heading of it right now. I'll give you a little bit of information about what they're saying in there. It's a reimagining. I mean, like, I'm tired of marketing buzzwords, but it's a reimagining of Shi No Numa, first introduced in World at War, freshly enhanced with a new main quest. We'll see about that. Side quests, a new area to explore. Okay, the map is tiny, so alright. Remastered Easter eggs. Okay, that sounds good. A new Wonder Weapon quest. That is a good thing, but if it's just a shield, not so good. Pack-a-Punch camos. The fact that that's even in there shows how far we've fallen, doesn't it? It really shows just the shell of the game mode that we are now. The hollow, empty shell, having to advertise having pack camos. What a world, guys, what a world. Anyway, a new Dark Ether narrative. It has a storyline. Amazing. Sorry if I'm being a little bit too facetious here, but, like, my patience has run out, you know what I mean? It's got the flogger in it. It has electroshock defenses. Right, it's Shi No Numa. It's got a little new bubble of an area, and then it's got an Easter egg quest now and stuff. Cool, awesome, good stuff. They're also releasing some new weapons in the Battle Pass, but the thing that I want to talk about next is the incoming Cold War content. Now, this is interesting. They say they're not planning to release any new zombies maps in Cold War right now because of the fact that they're already working on all that stuff for Shi No Numa, and their dev team have been stripped of all power, and so they're not going to be able to release that until Season 4, and so they're definitely not going to be able to also make more Cold War Zombies maps in that time when they just don't have any devs to do it, right? So there's not going to be new Cold War Zombies maps. However, there is some interesting stuff here. So let me read, because I think it's important to be verbatim here. So they're releasing some new weapons, like I said. They don't have plans to release new maps, but they will be adding a new secret for Zombies players to discover, particularly those who've also conquered every main quest that Black Ops Cold War has to offer. Now, what does that sound like? It sounds like a super Easter egg, which is an incredible development, and not one that I ever expected to happen, and yet here we are. And that does get a thumbs up from me. Let's hope it's good, whatever the hell it is, but a new Easter egg quest, I'm on board for, assuming it's an Easter egg quest. If it's just something to find, then less interesting. Still cool, I like rewards, but less interesting than an actual quest. Some kind of super Easter egg quest would be incredible. Treyarch plus, do it. So, they're also going to be delivering several updates to Outbreak and Onslaught, such as Outbreak Collapse, coming to all platforms. It's a limited time mode, which is a successor to last October's fan-favorite LTM, where players outlast increasingly intense waves for 10 minutes before attempting to exfil from a single region. Basically, the difficulty ramps up, and there's an order that knows where you are, and like stuff like that. So there's that sort of thing going on, so that sounds cool. For an added challenge, they're also adding the Abomination Elite from Forsaken into Outbreak, and that's going to be a new HVT variant, so when you're calling in your high-value target, you're going to be able to take out the Abomination now, so I guess that's cool. For Onslaught fans, or maybe the Onslaught fan, they should have described this, because I don't think there's more than one out there in the world. They're bringing several limited time modes to players on all platforms this year, so they're doing more Onslaught updates, which doesn't really make sense to me, to be honest. Do people play it? Actually, Treyarch, this is a request. If people play Onslaught, can you, tell us that? Because Treyarch have given us quite a lot of interesting data this year, and in the last year as well, about how equal numbers of people are playing Outbreak compared to regular zombies in Cold War, for instance, right? That's like one of the things that I've gone back to time and time again. So interesting to be told that by the studio. If there's a similar stat for Onslaught, can you tell us? Like, even if it was something like more people are playing Onslaught than played all of World at War Zombies. Or something. Like, just, if there's like some stat, just so that I can get into my head the fact that people actually play it. Because, in my mind, no one does. But, I don't know, maybe I'm just being a sort of sarcastic and mean-spirited old hag. It's possible. So, they're also going to see Onslaught Accelerated, Onslaught Diminishing Light, Onslaught Elite arrive across all platforms for the first time, so that's good. There's going to be weapon blueprints that you get from those. Also, the secret they mentioned earlier, okay, they say you'll have to discover its location on your own. If you haven't completed all 6 main quests yet, let's just say that now would be a good time to get on that. Depending on how many you've managed to conquer so far, over a dozen unique rewards could be waiting for you, including a permanent upgrade in every zombies map. So, RK5, but make it in Cold War. Sort of vibe going on there. Is that a good thing? Yeah. A super Easter egg is a good thing. Even if there's not a quest associated with it, even if it's just like a go here, kill a boss, you can only open a door. Maybe there's going to be a door. This would actually be so sick. Treyarch, please. Somewhere in the world, okay, there's a door. Maybe in Forsaken. Maybe that would make most sense, because Forsaken's kind of got that vibe going on. Maybe it's, if it was in the Forsaken boss fight, okay, in the back of that arena, if there was just a door and it had 6 padlocks on it, and if you do the Easter eggs, you do all 6 Easter eggs, you go over to that door, and you have keys. You don't know you have keys, but you have keys now. You go over to it, you hold square, padlock falls off the door, onto the floor, clank, it's there. You're like, that was me. And then you do it again, padlock number 2, and you go through all 6, boom, door swings open, some kind of weapon in there, you hold square on it, you have permanent access to weapon in the future. Like, something like that, it would be very cool. It would be very, very cool. Especially if there's like a little room in there where you can like see kind of history or some kind of record of what you've done over the last year. Like, that would be a really cool thing. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Super Easter egg is a good thing. Is it too little too late? Well, I mean, I think a lot of the Zombies player base, to be honest, are happy to be fickle at this point. And what I mean by that is, I think a lot of us are totally content with the idea of kind of jumping in with Zombies, being like, nah, this isn't really fun anymore, and just going and playing Apex Legends for 6 months, and then when there's an update, being like, yeah, I'll check out the new thing. I'll give it a go. And I think, to be honest, in a lot of ways, this is actually the end game that Treyarch were kind of angling for with Vanguard. Like, I think that this was always going to be one of those games where it was like, you jump in, you play for a few days, or even just a day, and then you jump out. And especially if you're a multiplayer fan, you jump in, you play for a couple of days, and then you jump out again. Because they haven't put enough content into the game, they haven't put systems into the game that would really keep you playing beyond a session here or there. So I think that the Zombies fan base have kind of adapted to that, and we're now willing to do that. So when we get the update in Season 4, with the new Shi No Numa remastered, reimagined, or whatever, I'll of course make some videos on that, I think. I say of course, it's not actually an of course. By then, who knows, maybe I'll have started a new career raising horses in Colombia. I don't know. Everything's on the table right now. But I will be making content on it if I am sort of still in this sort of headspace that I'm currently in. We'll see. Anyway, if you'd like me to make more videos about things other than zombies, please let me know. Please. Because I could totally be making some other content right now. I just don't really feel like I know what would fit on this channel. And I've been in a really weird headspace just with content in general, because Zombies has felt like it has just missed the mark in such a big way and kind of betrayed the faith that a lot of us have put in it. And it's just kind of burned me out on like video games in general. Like, I've just been like, this sucks. It's like my favorite thing. and it sucks. And it sucking sucks. Like, I wanted it to be so, you know what I mean? That kind of vibe. So that's sort of the long way of saying, if you like some other content, even if it's on another channel, like I've been working out loads, I'd love to make some fitness content. I'd love to make some cooking content. I'd love to make some travel content. I'd love to make some finance content. I'd love to make some, I don't know, content, some other things, man. Just let me know what you're in for. So I'm gonna wrap the video up here. Hopefully this has been okay, you know, bed hair, morning vibes. If you'd like to see more videos like this, I could just talk, we could just shoot the shit, you know? We could just chat. That's an option. We could just talk about random stuff for a bit. I could just post some videos being like, here's an idea, and we sit down and have a 20-minute chat about it. There's room for that. Who knows? Let me know what you'd like, guys. I'm Mr. Off Waffles. Leave a like, because that matters in 2022. It doesn't. But leave a like, you animals. I'll see you next time, if there is one. Bye for now.